Do you remember when you and I recorded a test version of this?
Yeah, like many eons ago. I don't know. I've been drinking a lot since then.
Yes, me too.
Okay.
I told you right when we finished up that I had a story for when we finally do the live podcast.
Oh, dear God.
And it was something, speaking of get you arrested, it was the legal troubles I was telling you about.
Oh, shit. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
It's not, don't get your hopes up. It's not too exciting. But it was frightening for me for a while.
I'm sure it was.
And yes, the reason I could talk about it is my lawyer, yes, my lawyer has finally dealt with it. Yes, there had to be a lawyer involved. And the reason that this happened is based on purely my own stupidity and laziness, is how this happened.
I'm waiting.
Okay, I thought you had something to say. So, I used to go to school in Gannon University in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I was down there. I wasn't even going back to school. I was down there visiting. On the way back on I-86 in upstate New York, it's a highway that nobody travels on. I'm flying by doing 80.
That's it. I think on that highway I've done like 120.
Yeah, I've done faster. Let's just say this, and so a cop pulled me over. He got me when I was slowing down. Oh, you just popped the mic.
Shit happens.
So pulls me over, and I get the ticket. I'm like, oh, fuck you. So I move on. And that was July of 2018.
Did you forget to pay the ticket?
Kind of.
What is kind of?
So it was a mix of me putting it off and ignoring it and forgetting to pay it.
Did a warrant get put out for your arrest?
Well, I always would be freaked out about it. I was like, wait a minute, there's a ticket. I could have a warrant for my arrest. So there'd be times when I'd drive to and from Erie since then. I'd be driving around here. I think I went to New York City once. And I'd always be like, and just driving around here, I'd be like, oh, God. And make sure you follow every rule, not to get pulled over, because if they pull me over, I could be put in handcuffs. So about March of this year, I get a little letter in the mail that I failed to answer the ticket and my license is now suspended. So I'm like, okay, I guess I have to deal with this now. So I get in contact with our family lawyer. We're Italians. Of course, we have a family lawyer.
I'm not going to make any mafia references, but I'm just going to say that lawyer's probably crooked as shit.
He's actually not, but his dad might have been.
Oh, okay.
So we got in contact with the lawyer, and so the process started. They sent out a form of like trying to work out a plea deal and to get my license reactivated because at the time I was working at the post office as a mail delivery person.
Oh,
I was driving a postal truck.
Are you not there anymore?
No, I still am, but I had started that job at that point.
Way to go, Mitch Hedberg.
I had started a job where I was driving was my job, and I didn't have a license. But here's how it worked out. So they sent out the letter. I don't hear back from them, so I'm all paranoid because I could get fired. If I can't do my job, I'll get fired. The lawyer's assistant, she finally gets back to me 3 weeks later saying that, so this court, she called the court. The court is only open the first Tuesday of every month from like 2:30 to 4:30.
What the fuck kind of court is this? What the hell town did you get pulled over in where they can only afford that amount of time for a court
So
case?
you know that highway is like, it goes through basically nothing. The only major...
Yeah, there's not even like farms. It's literally just nothing.
It doesn't hit a major city. Both sides. It's Binghamton on one side and Erie on the other side. Those are the major cities and those are the ends of the highway. There's nothing in between. Well, there's some shit. But no one cares about it.
You could say the same about Dwaynesburg.
Yeah. But at least there's shit that people care about close by. Like Schenectady, Albany.
Okay, that's...
Some people care about. Yeah, I know.
Drug dealers care about them.
Of course. So yeah, this town, it's the town of Mina. Yeah, you've never heard of it. It's like an hour and a half south of Buffalo. Yeah. So yeah, the court was open, and whenever you called it, that would be the message that played. So the assistant, she got the address on the internet and sent out something. And this is the 3 weeks that it comes back. 3 weeks later, she gets a thing in the mail that they don't have a mailbox at this court.
What
so
the
not
fuck?
only, and yeah, this voicemail that it leaves, you can't leave a message. It tells you to call back at that designated time period or come there at that designated time period.
Is it even legal for a courthouse to not have a mailbox?
So we're getting there. I might have caused some problems down there. Because after all this happened, and my license was still suspended at this point. So she's like, I had a meeting with the lawyer, and he's like, okay, he goes, there's a blessing in disguise, is that all this shit is happening. Because now we have leverage. So what he ended up doing was contacted the district attorney of that district, of like the Buffalo district attorney, because it covers that little region. And sent this whole thing, sent the proof of the phone calls, proof of the letter, and literally scanned the letter where it has a stamp and said that there's no mailbox, and said to the district attorney, we've done everything to try and respond and get this resolved, and this court has done nothing. Nothing. So the district attorney kind of is dragging his feet because it's government, it's what they do. So like a month later, we finally hear back, and the court, the district, not from the district attorney got in contact with someone over at the court and said, fucking respond to this. Because they probably wanted the money too. So someone from the court, so this court probably is the size of my house, I'm guessing, because it's someone that emailed the assistant and told her everything, that she's sorry, that she only goes in to check like the email every couple of weeks and shit. And
Is there like 10 people in this town?
Probably. It's got to be 10 times smaller than we're here.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm trying, because there's more. There's more.
You got enough to like write like a fucking entire episode of a sitcom already. How much more could there fucking be?
Oh, there's more.
We talking a whole season, a half season?
No, just an hour episode.
Oh, okay, so a live special?
Yes.
Okay.
Two-parter.
Ooh. It's a cliffhanger at 8:39 or 8:29.
Yes. So we're going. So we're finally in there, like, we're sorry and all that shit. So we finally work it out. Is my lawyer's like, so what I'd have to do is I'd have to pay a fine. Obviously, for the speeding ticket would have probably been upwards of $400. Gotten point? Huh?
$400.
Probably around. Yeah. What?
Dude, I got pulled over going almost 100 in Massachusetts, and my ticket was like $100.
That's Massachusetts. It's New York State.
Oh, good point.
Come on now. Everything's more expensive here. $300-400. You've never gotten a speeding ticket in New York?
No.
They're expensive if you don't get them taken down.
Wow.
They're upwards of $300.
Jesus Christ, that's a fucking ripoff.
But since mine was the situation, that would probably been upwards of $400. Anyway, and so I have to pay the fine, and I'd also have to pay to get my license I would have to put out the money to get my license reinstated. And my lawyer's like, fuck you, we're not paying for that because we tried to work with you, and you people took almost 2 months to get back to us finally, have communication. We're not paying for that. And the court was like, oh, I don't really know if I could do that. So sent it back up. So we got back in contact with the district attorney. And we finally got back from the district attorney that fine, that charge would be waived. So I didn't have to pay to get my license reinstated. Then I still ended up paying a fine. Still had to pay a fine, which was only like just under $100, which after all this shit, I'll deal. That's okay. Yeah. I have a decent paying job. I can afford that.
Fuck you.
Sorry.
It's fine. I get a great paying job in about a month.
Yeah. So fuck you. And you'd think this is all done, right?
One would assume.
No. So what happens is, because I have to send out the fine, and there is a mailbox now. It's a P.O. box in a different town. Yeah. I literally think they probably got this P.O. box after this whole shit happened.
They had to have.
Yeah. So I sent out the check, and what I did is got from probably the one judge that works in that town. I had the assistant that works for my lawyer got a written thing that said that the fine was taken care of, that my license had been reinstated, even though, because sometimes the computer systems aren't up to date with they aren't uniform.
Yep.
And say if a cop logs in, it could still say it's suspended even though it's not. So I had to get a piece of paper. 2 days before I get that piece of paper,
You get pulled over?
I got pulled over. Not for speeding. It was March 31st. So think about this. The 31st. What do cops usually do at the end of the month?
I mean, that whole quota thing, I think, is a bit of an urban legend, or it's been exaggerated a bit.
Well, this might say otherwise.
Well, I'm speaking from troopers that I actually know. It's like it is and isn't a thing. Like I can get into it a bit more, but I won't. But
yeah, let's not get into it. So you're basically saying is this cop was a dick because
Yes.
it wasn't for speeding.
This cop was a twat.
Was not for speeding.
Was it for not using your blinker?
Nope.
Was it because you were going too slow and he was trying to pass you?
Nope. I'll just tell you because it'll get boring if we do the guessing game. So I'm at the interchange in Schoharie town, like 40, 50 minutes from Albany. Interchange in Schoharie coming off 88 and then getting on to 7. You know that one?
Yeah, vaguely.
And it's a 4-way stop.
Yeah, the 4 roads of Schoharie.
Yeah. There's nobody there. It's the middle of the day on a Sunday. Nobody there.
You ran a red?
Stop sign. I stopped, but I didn't come to an absolute complete stop where your car jolts forward, and I sat there for 5 minutes and waited for nobody to fucking move.
You did a California stop on an abandoned road.
Yeah.
And he pulled you over.
And the thing is, he wasn't even sitting there. He happened to be coming by. And he saw it. And did a Yui and pulled me over. And I'm like, you gotta be... And I'll admit when I fucked up, like I fucked up on the other one. I absolutely was speeding. I stopped. It wasn't 100% I stopped, sat there for 10 seconds, and then moved. Yes, but I stopped. So this cop pulls me over, and of course, they always take forever to get out of the car. Gets out of the car. Says, do you know why I pulled you over? And because I didn't know that I did this, I go, honestly, officer, I have no idea. Because usually I'll be like, yeah, I was probably going too fast. I'll own up to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, officer, I have no idea. He goes, you didn't come to a complete stop. And I go, okay. He goes, license and registration. And I go, here's the thing. I go, so I've been dealing with this ticket that is at this court that's in the middle of nowhere, and they suspended my license because they didn't have a mailbox or a phone. I literally gave him most of the story I just told all of you. And he goes, okay, I'm going to run it. And I told him that it should be cleared. It shouldn't still say suspended. And he's like, okay, I'll go run it still. I knew there was a problem because if you've ever been pulled over, you kind of know
if it starts taking a little too long.
If it takes really long. And I sat there before he came back. I probably sat there for 20 minutes before he came back.
See, that happened to me once, but the trooper was texting my uncle, who is also a trooper.
Yeah. He comes back and he does the thing where he puts the hand on the car.
All right. He does the power move right there.
Yeah.
Leans into the window.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, here's what we're going to do. That's how he started.
Oh, fuck.
Since you were honest with me, I'm not going to put you in handcuffs right now. That's what he said to me. Because he goes, my computer says that your license is suspended. And then, because I got just how he was acting kind of like a dick. So it kind of annoyed me a little bit. And I'm like, well, I told you what was going on. It's probably not going to be in the computer. And he goes, let me finish. Like, he cut me off, like, being an asshole about it. I'm not going to arrest you right now. He told me the whole thing. I'm going to give you a ticket for running the stop sign. And I'm going to give you a ticket for, I forget what it's called, but there's something. It's like if you're 16 and you're driving without your permit, it's a ticket like that instead of a ticket for driving with a suspended license is like big time fine and obviously you get arrested. This one you don't get arrested for. You just get a fine. So 2 fines. And he's like, I highly suggest you get someone to come out here and drive your car back. Like, just an asshole. And I'm like, before he gave me those tickets, I kept saying, well, sir, my lawyer's trying to deal with it. And he goes, I don't want to hear it. Didn't want to deal with it. He did technically give me a break by not arresting me, but he tried to make it seem like he was doing me such a huge favor. The biggest favor of, he's acting like he saved my firstborn child by doing this.
Not even close.
So after this, I have a panic attack because, I have my anxiety.
Yep.
Call my mother, tell her the whole thing. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there I called her originally to come get me because I was so fucking, freaked out because I was this close to getting arrested. And then I calmed myself down. I was like, fuck it, I'm scared. I'll just drive back. So I did. Drove back immediately. So I texted a picture of the ticket and told my lawyer. And he goes, you got to be fucking kidding me. Not at me, but I told him the whole story.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, this is going to be thrown out. Because now my lawyer is all the time telling you got pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So while we were still dealing with the other court, we now had to deal with the court of Cervera. And they gave us a short limit because that was the thing, is because he knew about my license. They usually give you a month. He gave me 2 weeks to respond because he's trying to be an asshole about it. So the lawyer's assistant had to get in contact with the judge out in Cervera and told her the whole situation that I told the cop, and the cop obviously knew. And dealt with all that, and they said, okay, we'll put a longer hold. The judge said to her, is like, I don't know why you needed to respond so quickly, but we'll give you another month on top of the 2 weeks. So a month and 2 weeks, month and a half.
Nice judge.
So I got the piece of paper. I still have it in my car. My license is activated. I know it's activated. It's on all the computer, but I still have the piece of paper that says the judge, because you never know. I'll get pulled over to some podunk town with a cop that has a computer from 1992 that its system updates every 3 years or something. And it'll say that I don't have a license. So I have that piece of paper still. Finally get this, sent the check out. Then this one. So, you know how that judge you said was nice?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Oh, dear God.
So my lawyer got the one that was the 16-year-old permit. The substitute for the license suspending charge.
Yeah.
Got that wiped. That would have been $100 fine. Got that wiped. The stop sign, though, the judge was like, just didn't want to deal with it. And my lawyer said, we could fight this, but you'll still probably end up having to pay a fine for it, and you won't save that much. And how it's set up right now, the fine's not too bad, and you'll only get 2 points on your license, which is easy to get off. You do that insurance thing, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, it's been going on technically since July of 2018. It is now it was May is when I was dealing with it. It is May of 2018. So almost a year later, I was like, you know what? I'll just pay the fucking thing. I'm done. So I paid it at the beginning of June.
Mm-hmm.
Now everything's fucking set. Finally. So thoughts, comments?
You might have been able to get a trilogy out of that, not just a 2-parter. Holy shit.
So yeah, when we did that test, I was in the middle of that shit. And that's the other thing. When I'd go down, people would invite me, I went down to Erie, and I'd have to, we'd have plans where we'd have to go on these long drives to places. I'd be nervous and be like, you have to drive. And you probably know me. I don't like letting other people drive. If someone's going to drive, I like to drive.
Yeah.
But I was nervous. I didn't want to get arrested with my friend or somebody in the car.
Who probably had drugs on them.
You never know. Some of them could have. No, some of them. The ones that would have drugs wouldn't get in my car. They would have drugs in their car, probably.
Okay, that's fine.
So, yeah, what do you think
about that's literally almost like one of those bits that a comedian does when you're sitting there listening to it. You think, there's no way this actually fucking happened. this is just so fucking bizarre that this sequence of events could not have occurred in this reality.
I'm glad you think it's that insane because I was thinking about it. I was like, I got to tell this story on the podcast. I was thinking about it and like
it literally lost all bounds of credibility when you said that the courthouse didn't even have a fucking mailbox. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, if it was literally anyone but Adam telling me this story, I would have put all my chips in and called bullshit.
This is my life. And I mean, I can't be too upset because I started it because one, I was speeding and then I forgot about the ticket.
No, it's 110% your fault, but it's the ancillary effects and events.
It's everything after that was not my fault.